Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another 10 pens currently inked this week. I think let's go through these briefly one by one. We'll go through them in a little bit more detail and then we'll do a writing sample. So from left to right we have a Sailor King pen, Progear Lucky Charm. We have a Cross Peerless 125 which has a Sailor nib. We have a London Pen Company NONA14 in the Jonathan Brooks Bohemian Twilight. We have an Onoto Longitude. We have an Atelier Lusso Andromeda in the Vulcan's Forge. We have a OMAS 360 in Cotton Grey. We have a TWICO Seishu Dragon in red. And we have a TWICO Seishu Dragon in green. And we have two Jinhao X159s. One in the red and one in the blue. So I think let's take a look at these pens inked up in a little bit more detail. So this is the Sailor King pen. So if I show you here, it says founded 1911 Sailor Japan. And the cap finial there, if I can focus on that, you'll see there it has a anchor. It is a translucent or transparent King pen, and I do like these a lot. I have to say I'm more of a fan of the translucent ones than the non-translucent. This has a lovely two-tone Sailor King pen nib, number 8 size nib, and this is a medium nib there with the plastic feed. It is cartridge converter, so you can open it up there, and it is cartridge converter. But you can see how translucent that material is. It's quite translucent. I do like this pen a lot. I can post the cap if I want to as well. And it actually feels quite natural and not back weighted in any way. The one thing I do find though with the translucency is that you can get ink in here between what is an inner cap and the outer cap, and that is very difficult. It is spring loaded here that you'll see. It's actually tethered to the clip here, or to the clip and to the cap finial, and it's very difficult. You can't pull that one out, unfortunately. So it is difficult to actually clean that. I will need to probably clean it again at some point. It's just one of those things. So I guess that's the downsides of having a translucent cap, is that you get to see a little bit more of the ink splotches that are in the cap. The next pen here is the Cross Peerless 125, and this comes with a Swarovski crystal here. If I can, there you go. You can see that crystal. Has a bit of a sort of a strange shape clip. Very functional, works really well. Has a guilloche pattern on this, which I really do like. Very smooth to the touch, not glassy smooth. There's a slight texture to it, but you can see here also it will say Cross Peerless 125 on that band. Now I want to call it a cap band. It's not a cap band because if I unscrew that, it's actually on the body, strangely enough. If I unscrew the cap, you'll see a number 6 size Sailor made nib, and although it says Peerless 125 on it, it is a medium nib, but that is actually quite a nice nib there. 18 karat gold nib, again with an ABS plastic feed that Sailor normally do. It is a cartridge converter pen. Strangely with this pen, I need to do a review of this, but strangely with this pen, it doesn't normally come with a cartridge converter. It comes with 2 cartridges. Strangely enough, I only got 1 cartridge, but I did get a converter with it, even though I had to order another converter from another retailer. The cap will post on the back if you want to. It will post securely and click. But I find it very hard to actually then remove it later on. So I have that one inked up with me this week. Also, the London Pen Company NONA14 in the Bohemian Twilight. Very nice pen made by Sean at the London Pen Company in Canada. I do like this material from Jonathan Brooks. Beautiful material. I prefer that this isn't polished. I think the faceted design and the colours really pop without needing it to be polished. Has a Bock broad nib there, number 6 size steel nib, and just notice actually there's a bit of actual, say a little bit of ink around the nib there, going a little bit fluffy actually. I'm gonna have to watch that. That was, I think originally I had that inked up with what was it? Caran d'Ache ink. Does have a cartridge converter. I have emptied it though. Probably need to clean it out a little bit more though, because that definitely is starting to look a little bit hairy, and I hate hairy nibs. They're not designed. Nibs are not designed to be hairy. So just wiping it away. Actually, it's just some green ink. It's not nothing serious there. So which is fine. So that's wiped away quite nicely. But I will be inking that up with another ink today. I also have inked up the Onoto Longitude, and this is a really, really nice pen. And when I saw this, I think it was at the London Pen Show in October 2022. I really liked the look of this pen. It is a seafaring design of a pen, and it is a commemorative pen to commemorate one of the worst disasters in British maritime history. The tragic loss of the Association, a second-rate ship of the line and admiral flagship with 3 accompanying ships. And it did actually sink, and it was sinked off of, I believe it was Gibraltar. And I'm just looking to see if I can actually find it. It doesn't actually say on Onoto's website, but I'm pretty sure it was Gibraltar. But in any way, you get the latitude and longitude, and hence why it's called longitude, because this was the first time that they were able to pin a ship down by coordinates. So it does have a ship's wheel here, and also the rope, and you have some waves on the cap with a huge anchor clip, which I like. Doesn't bother me. And then it says longitude here. Very, very nice pen. Cap is heavy, body not so heavy, and then you also see the latitude and longitude here. So you got the west, number 22 of 300, and then you got the north there as well. Has a number 7 size Onoto nib, and this is a medium nib. It is cartridge converter, like a lot of Onotos. They do plunger fillers now, but I do like the cartridge converters. Nice and easy to maintain, and easy to build as well. In terms of building a pen, you can post the cap, but it is very back weighted. Not something I would want to do, but you can do if you want to. And then that is the cap finial there. So interesting pen, and I do like the theme of that pen a lot. The next pen here is the Atelier Lusso Andromeda in the Vulcan's Forge. Beautiful fiery orange. I like this a lot. You'll see this is one of Eric's older logos, and you'll see Alpha Lusso there. Now he has a dragon, or switched to a dragon. I don't know if he still has a dragon. I've not had any pens from Eric recently. You can't post the cap. It's not designed to do so. It does have a bit of a step down. Doesn't bother me. Number 6 size Yovo broad nib there. Cartridge converter as well. Again, another nice pen. Beautiful material. Beautiful resin. So that is a pen that I decided I would ink up again. I wanted a little bit of a brighter ink, something along. I've been writing with a few reds lately. I wanted an orange as well. The next pen I had inked up last week. This is the OMAS 360 in cotton grey. you'll see here it says OMAS Italy there, and I think there's another marking down here as well, and then you've got the Greek key band there. As you rotate that around, you'll see but it is a triangular shaped pen that you can see here. It is very strange pen to hold, but strangely enough, it's not uncomfortable. I can post the cap if I want to. It will post onto the piston filling knob, so you have to be a bit careful when removing it. It won't twist much because it's a triangular pen on a triangular cap. This has a number 6 size OMAS 18 karat gold nib, but the nib here is an oblique medium nib, and you might be able to see that here on the tines, that they have a slight angle on those tines, and that is because it is an oblique medium nib. Quite comfortable to write with. I do tilt my pen when I write, so I probably am more suited to an oblique medium, although a regular medium feels just as good, if not better, to me. So I don't normally go for like a oblique medium or a left foot medium, but that was all that was available in the pen when I bought it. So I decided I would buy it with that nib and see how it went. The next pen is a beautiful pen I've had inked up for a while now. It's the TWICO Seishu Dragon in red. Beautiful Urushi Makie. You've got the eyes there are Warden or abalone shell. Beautiful, beautiful material. Really do like this a lot. So glad I picked this up at the London Pen Show in March 2023 this year. Beautiful pen. Has a number 6 size Yovo gold nib, and that's a medium nib. It is a cartridge converter as well. I will unscrew that. You'll see there, cartridge converter. And I do like cartridge converters. They are very easy to clean, very easy to maintain, very easy to build as a pen builder or creator. So I like them. I do prefer larger capacity inks in terms of piston fillers, which is around 1.2 milliliters of ink. Cartridge converters 0.7 milliliters of ink. Power vac you can get 1.5 to 2.5 milliliters of ink. You can get some pens, eyedropper, that are even more than that. But I do struggle with writing those dry. I do like the power vacs and I do like the pistons if I'm going to do a lot of writing. The next pen inked up again is the second TWICO Seishu Dragon in green this time. Again, abalone shell for the eyes there that sparkle. Beautiful pattern. Really, really in awe that I was able to pick both of these pens up. They are beautiful pens. Urushi, Makie. I'm just loving these pens. This pen also has a number 6 size Yovo gold, 14 karat gold. Did I say 18 karat on that one? It's a 14 karat gold nib, medium nib, and again cartridge converter that you can see there as well. But I do like these. These are really, really nice pens. They're not designed to be posted. I wouldn't post these because they are Urushi, they are Makie, absolute works of art. So for me, I wouldn't want to be posting pens like that. The next pen is a Jinhao X159, and I did have one inked up last week, and I believe it was Cult Pen's Wistful Watermelon that I put in here. This is a different 159 that I've got, or X159, and this one is inked up with Cult Pen's Bored Banana. I didn't know bananas got bored, but apparently so. So you can see there, probably the colour of that ink. There's quite a bit of ink on that nib there. It's a fine nib. It's a steel nib. Made by, I believe, Jinhao. A cartridge converter. You can post the cap. It's essentially a Mont Blanc 149 shape size pen. I could say rip off. It's not like, it's not really a rip off pen. You could argue the same for a lot of Sailor King pens, platinum pens. Anything that is a cigar shape looks similar to a 149. It is a 149 size, and the shape of the section is quite wide, so it's almost getting to the point of a rip-off. But these are very cheap pens. These are £6, €6, $6. Sometimes they go up to about 10, depending on where you buy them. Very nice pens. I have to say, I do like how most of them write that I have. I have 7 of them. And then this one is in a blue. So I have, I think, 4 in red and 3 in blue, possibly. But this one I have inked up with Colt Pen's Livid Lime. I've put these labels on here because I've got multiples of each pen and I don't know which ink I'm going to ink those up with. So I've put these labels on. Livid Lime, a lime green colour in a blue pen. Yeah, I know I don't normally do that. I do want to match the ink colour to the pens, but I couldn't get any other colours of these Jinhao X159s. It was red or blue. So I decided I would walk on the wild side and ink this up with a green colour. So again, it's a steel nib. It's a fine nib. I'll show you if I unscrew that. So that is pretty much empty. So I'm going to have to refill that one up because that one is empty. You can post the cap as well. And for me, that is actually a nice pen to write with. So that's my 10 pens currently inked this week. I think let's now go and do a writing sample. So the first pen I have inked up this week is the Sailor King pen Progear in the Lucky Charm. So we'll do an ink swatch. And this is inked up with a different colour green than I normally would ink up in this pen. But I am liking this colour. I like this colour in a lot of other pens. So this is the Sailor King pen Progear. And it's the Lucky Charm, which is a limited edition. It's a medium and it's a 21 cat gold nib, and the ink in here is Diamine Meadow, which is a lovely green coloured ink, and an ink that I like in a lot more pens. The next pen inked up is the Cross Peerless 125. So we'll do an ink swatch here. Now again, this has a Sailor King pen nib on it. So this is quite a nice sort of slightly bouncy nib. It's not a flex nib. It's not going to give a lot of line variation, but it's a pleasant nib to write with. So it's a Cross Peerless 125. It does have a lot of pencil-like feedback to it though. It's a medium, and it's an 18 cat gold nib made by Sailor for Cross. And the ink in here is Venvustus Vinactia. I think it's double N. Maybe it's one N. Probably one N actually. But that's a lovely coloured ink. The next pen here is the NONA14 from the London Pen Company. We'll do an ink swatch here. Now, this is a broad nib. And again, I do like this green as well. I typically more prefer Meadow from Diamine or Apple Glory. But this is the London Pen Company NONA14 in the Bohemian Brooks Twilight. And it's a broad and it's a steel Bock nib. And the ink in here is Diamine Ultimate Green. But that is a nice green, and I have to say that it's one that I have been using a little bit more recently, and I probably will continue to do so. The next pen is the Onoto Longitude. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And this writes very, very wet. It's a medium nib, but I love how it writes. And it makes me want to have a lot more medium Onoto nibs. The nibs are made by Bock. So this is the Onoto Longitude. And as I said, it's a medium and it's an 18 karat gold nib. This very much reminds me of the Visconti nibs. Right, broader than they probably are slightly, and also very wet. Both nibs made by Bock though. The ink in here is Pelican, Edelstein, Topaz. But that is a very, very well writing nib. I have to say, I really do like that. The next pen inked up is the Atelier Lusso Andromeda in the Vulcan's Forge. So we'll do an ink swatch. And I said I wanted to have a bit of a brighter orange ink, and this is definitely a bright orange ink. So this is the Atelier Lusso Andromeda in the Vulcan's Forge, and it is a broad and it's a still Yovo nib, but that is quite a punchy orange. And then the ink in here is Diamine Blaze Orange, and you can see why, because that really is a blaze or fiery orange ink there. The next pen is the OMAS 360 in Cotton Grey. We'll do an ink swatch, and this, I mentioned, is a medium, but it's an oblique medium. So if you are turning your nib slightly, it's supposed to be better writing with. So this is the OMAS 360 in Cotton Grey, and it's an oblique medium, and it's an 18 karat gold nib, and the ink in here is Diamine Earl Grey, which is typically an ink that I will ink up with this one. I've started getting a lot more grey inks lately, so maybe I should start trying to gravitate away from Diamine Earl Grey and start using some of the other greys I have in my collection. The next pen inked up is a TWICO Seishu Dragon in red. So we'll do an ink swatch. And I do find this just right beautifully, this nib. So this is the TWICO Seishu Dragon in red. And it's a medium, and it's a 14 karat gold nib. And the ink in here is KWZ, and it's Thief's Red, which is quite an interesting... if you think about dragons, you think about medieval times. Thieves were around a lot as well. I think it's actually quite a nice ink to ink up with. The next pen is the TWICO, and this is the Seishu Dragon in green. So we'll do another ink swatch here. And this is quite a nice green. So this is the TWICO Seishu Dragon in green. And it's a medium, and it's a 14 karat gold nib, and the ink in here is KWZ Grass Green. And I would say it's a middle of the colour range of green or grass. Not too bright, not like a meadow, not like potentially like Apple Glory from Diamine. I think it's a nice green. The next pen is the Jinhao X159 in red, and we'll do an ink swatch here. Now, this might be a little bit hard to see. I'm probably going to not ink this up much more because it is a colour. I'm just going to prime the converter a bit. It's a colour that is really hard to see, especially on white paper. So this is the Jinhao X159, and certainly in a fine nib. It probably would be better in a broad nib, and it's a steel nib. Now the ink in here is Colt pens, and it's board banana. Now this is not like a lot of yellow inks. It is easier to see, but still quite difficult. It's not like Diamine yellow, for instance, which is impossible to read on a lot of paper. And then the last pen here, again, is another Jinhao X159 in blue. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And let me just re-prime that converter. So this is a nice green. Very bright, punchy green. Reminds me a little bit of Diamine Jade, and also Diamine Apple Glory as well. So this is a Jinhao X159. Again, another fine steel nib. But the ink in here is another Colt Pens Diamine exclusive. And it's called Livid Lime, which I have to say is a good name and a very good colour as well. If you really want a nice, bright, punchy green, I'd say that is the colour to go for. So I think let's take a look at these pens inked up one more time. We have a Sailor King a pen, Progear in the Lucky Charm, in a medium 21 karat gold nib inked up with Diamine Meadow. We have a Cross Peerless 125 in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Venvistus Vinaccia. We have a London Pen Company NONA14 in a broad steel nib inked up with Diamine Ultimate Green. We have an Onoto Longitude in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Pelican Edelstein Topaz. We have an Atelier Lusso Andromeda in the Vulcan's Forge in a broad steel nib inked up with Diamine Blaze Orange. We have an OMAS 360 in Cotton Grey with an oblique, a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Diamine Earl Grey. We have a TWICO Seishu Dragon in red in a medium 14 karat gold nib inked up with KWZ Thief's Red. We have another TWICO Seishu Dragon but in green in a medium 14 karat gold nib inked up with KWZ Grass Green. We have very hard to read a Jinhao X159 in a fine steel nib inked up with Colt Pens Board Banana. And we have a Jinhao X159 in a fine steel nib inked up with Colt Pens Livid Lime. So there you have it. That's my Kona ink pens for this week. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.